I think the current market for the Chinese real estate is relatively staying stable or relatively going down a little bit. The reason behind it is that there are too many homes in China. 2 people home in China, 3 people home in Canada. So also the Chinese population has been surpassed by India. And the Chinese population is no longer growing as they used to be.
One of your last videos, you were interviewing an agent from, I think it was Beijing.
Yes.
And yeah, so what did you learn from that video? The differences between the Toronto market and Beijing? Because obviously you never work there. You work here. You're an expert in the Toronto area. He's an expert in Beijing. What did you learn the difference between Toronto and the Beijing markets?
Okay, that's a funny topic. I did never worked in China or in Beijing, but my family ran real estate business in China, so I think I still know China pretty well. And thank you for searching me so well. You did a lot of good research. I appreciate that and I respect that. I think the current market for the Chinese real estate is relatively staying stable or relatively going down a little bit. The reason behind it is that there are too many homes in China based on my research. China's data is not as open as here in Canada. We know how many people we have. We know how many homes are there. So I did some research from my own channel that's in China right now, there's about 1.4 billion in population, and there's about 680 million homes. That's pretty much 2 people per home. Okay, 2 people per home. In Toronto, every 1,000 people has about 360 homes. That's about 3 people a home. Okay, you don't need to remember the exact numbers. Just remember 2 people a home in China, 3 people a home in Canada. So also the Chinese population has been surpassed by India. And the Chinese population is no longer growing as they used to be. They are going to stay at about 1.4 million for a little bit. I think that's a very deadly sign for real estate, because people start losing trust in the real estate price. In another way is that the rent in China is so low that it makes the buying real estate and betting on collecting the rent a no game. Okay, so you don't make a profit from buy and hold and rent it out. I think the cap rate for many major cities like Beijing is like 0.5% to 1%. If you want to make money by buying real estate in China, you are betting on the appreciation 100%. A lot of people even doesn't lease it out because they believe if a tenant moves in, it's going to take more damage to the home than the rent they collected. So I think the Chinese real estate market is in a difficult time. That's the rent is likely to go up as people's making more money. The economy is developing, but the real estate price wise is at a place where people doesn't want to drop price to sell, but the liquidity is not very good.
I had a really interesting thing. I had this great realization. I was talking to someone about 2 weeks ago. And this is Daryl, this is like kind of like news for me and you. So when the central banks, whether it be in China or US or Canada, decide to lower interest rates, right? It's in order to stimulate the economy. Okay. They want people to spend more money in the economy. In Canada, the reason that we like our mindset, right? When they lower interest rates, they say, oh, we can borrow more now. Oh, this is good. I'm going to go buy more because I'm going to go take on more debt because the interest rate's really low, right? Daryl, agree?
Mm-hmm.
Agree? Okay. In China, because of the way that their thinking is, when the interest rates are low, they said, well, why would I want to put my money in the bank then? And when interest rates are high, they say, oh, not a good time to spend money. I'm going to put it in the bank because I'm going to get a lot more interest, because a lot of Chinese buyers and their philosophy, not completely different mindset. Their philosophy is they don't get loans. They try to buy properties with no mortgages.
But they have to buy it because like somebody told them you can't get married unless you own a property or something. Like there's more behind it there.
I'm just saying that the mindset is completely the opposite. And when rates go down, it's no longer, oh, it's not a good time to put money in the bank, right? And so
I want to comment on that. I think you heard, you heard a part of the interesting side. I guess not a lot of people talk about things what I'm talking about, so I really would like to share more. One problem for the Chinese system is that it's a developing country. It's still developing country. The system somehow needs to catch up with the economy development. One of the system that's I think is not making a lot of sense, and especially what Daryl mentioned, that the mother-in-law always wants the son-in-law to buy a home, is because that's in Canada, we lease and ownership is the same. You get the same school zone, you get pretty much the same health insurance. But in China, no. You need to buy a home in order to get the sequence in getting your kids into the top public schools. If you are renting, you are in the second tier. Only when the people who own the homes, kids, are fully satisfied, then it becomes the renting zone.
Yeah,
so
never.
In a way, renting is not ideal. You want your kids to go to the good public school, especially in the major cities. For some of the major cities, even if you own a home, your chance of going to the top public school is like 90%, 80%. It's not 100% guaranteed. So that people have to buy a home in order to enjoy all those benefits.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you got anything from one of these clips. And if you want to see some more, press something on the screen here. Boom.
That was good.
That was good. I like that. That was good.